Good afternoon. Welcome to the meeting of the Oceanside City Council for May 22nd, 2024. I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order and ask our city clerk to call roll.
Mayor Sanchez.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Kime. Councilmember Joyce. Councilmember Robertson. Councilmember Weiss.
Thank you. Please rise for the invocation. This afternoon, late afternoon, early evening, we have Pastor Hall Seed from New Song Church.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Let's pray together. Father, we bow now to invite your presence into this room and pray your blessing, your wisdom, your synergy upon all of us. I pray your particular blessing on our mayor and council members and city officers, that they would count this not just a privilege, but see their work as worthwhile here tonight and long term. I am guessing from the number of people behind me that there are people that want to express their opinion, and I pray that they're heard and that the council is able to meet those things. Together, we want to thank you for this wonderful city we live in, and what a privilege it is to live by the beach in Oceanside, California. We ask your presence here now, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right. Please remain standing and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready to begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Thank you. This is the proclamations and presentations part of our city council meeting. And tonight we have a very honorable tradition of National Poppy Day proclamation. Tonight we do have the American Legion Unit 146. Kim Crone, President. If you'd like to come on down, please. Kim, do you have other folks that you would like to join you? Okay. Well, Kim, you've been around with the American Legion Auxiliary for?
We came to Oceanside in 2009. We chartered here the second time, but I've been with the auxiliary for 30 years.
30 years. So, whereas poppies are worn and displayed as a symbolic tribute to our fallen and the future of living veterans and service members, and whereas at the end of World War I, the American Legion adopted the poppy as a symbol of freedom and the blood sacrificed by troops in war times. And whereas the use of the poppy symbolically comes from the poem In Flanders Fields, which movingly begins, "In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row," referring to the poppies that sprang up in the churned earth of battlefields across Belgium and France, where soldiers died fighting. And whereas the American Legion family has long utilized the red poppy as its official flower, symbolizing the blood shed by those who have served in our U.S. military, and it is fitting that as the American Legion and American Legion Auxiliary celebrated their 100th anniversaries in 2019, that they expand the meaning and symbolism of the poppy, mirroring the manner in which the poppy is symbolically showcased in England and Canada in celebratory fashion on their Remembrance Day, also known as Armistice Day and Poppy Day. And whereas wearing a poppy will unite citizens from across the country who decide to show their patriotism, and whereas the City of Oceanside has always shared a very special relationship with and strong ties to Marine Corps Base Camp Joseph H. Pendleton, the site of the Corps' largest amphibious assault training facility, as well as with our military families and veterans. And whereas American Legion Auxiliary Unit 146, Kim Crone, President, has requested that May 24th, 2024 be designated as National Poppy Day in the City of Oceanside. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Esther C. Sanchez, on behalf of the City of Oceanside, do hereby proclaim May 24th, 2024 as National Poppy Day in the City of Oceanside, and encourage all citizens, residents, and visitors to join in observing this day by honoring every service member who has died in the name of liberty, freedom, and democracy, while also showing their support for living veterans, service members, and their families.
Thank you, Mayor Sanchez and the Oceanside City Council for your continued support of our military. On the Friday before Memorial Day, wear a red poppy to honor the fallen and support the living who have worn our nation's uniform. American Legion Auxiliary Oceanside Unit 146 will have a poppy table tomorrow at the Sunset Market. It'll be located at G.I. Joe's next to Frankie's. So thank a veteran anytime you see him.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and take a picture real quick. She does a lot of work here for our military men, service veterans. Thank you, Kim, for everything that you do. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Next, we have a proclamation in honor of Oceanside Beach Safety Week. That's May 20th to 27th. And come on down. Lifeguards. Yeah? And the chief? And others? Lola? Thank you so much for asking for this, Lola. Really, really appreciate it. It states, and then I'll hand you the mic, whereas the beautiful coastal and inland beaches of Oceanside represent a world-renowned recreational resource, and whereas Oceanside residents and visitors alike are drawn to these beaches by the millions each year for water and beach activities, and whereas the aquatic environment has dangers, particularly rip currents, that can be effectively managed through public awareness and the vigilance of professional lifeguards, which you all are, wonderful. And whereas for reasons of public safety, an annual reminder of the joys and hazards associated with the aquatic environment are appropriate at the commencement of the busy summer beach season. And whereas Oceanside residents and visitors alike must remember the following rules: swim near a lifeguard, learn to swim before going to the ocean, hopefully, learn rip current safety, never swim alone, designate a water watcher, alcohol and water don't mix, feet first water entry, not, in other words, no head, entry. Life jackets save lives, observe signs and flags, and beat the heat and block the sun. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Sanchez, on behalf of the City of Oceanside, do hereby proclaim May 20th to the 27th as National Beach Safety Week in the City of Oceanside, and urge all residents using our beaches to enjoy themselves at the beach this year while taking appropriate measures to protect themselves and their children. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We just want to say thank you very much. We urge all residents and visitors to use extreme caution at the beach. We do have big surf this weekend. We are fully staffed. We're ready for it. We're ready for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lola. Did you want to?
The Lifeguard Division is a very professional organization, but as you can see, we care about our community. We embrace the community family, the residents, businesses, and visitors here in the city. So we are here for you, for your safety. We want you to enjoy our wonderful city, and thank you, and be beach safe.
Good, thank you. Can we have a picture? Come closer. Yeah, there we go.
All of us, yeah. Thank you very much.
Next is National Public Works Week. Come on down, Public Works. Yes, come on down. Here comes the team. Woo! Okay, I'm gonna read this and then hand the mic over to you, Hamid. Yes? Okay. Hey, wow, this is a great team, huh? Celebrating a really fantastic week here in Oceanside. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Oceanside. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the City of Oceanside to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association and Canadian Public Works Association. And whereas this year, Oceanside Public Works will be hosting Public Works Day tomorrow, Thursday, May 23rd, on Ditmar Street, from Civic Center to Pierview Way, Oceanside. Fun for all ages, the street will be temporarily closed to give the public an up-close look at interesting equipment and interactive stations. Staff will be available to talk about planning, building, improving, and maintaining Oceanside's public infrastructure. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Sanchez, on behalf of the City of Oceanside, do hereby proclaim May 19th to the 25th as National Public Works Week in the City of Oceanside and urge all citizens to join in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. Thank you, guys. You rock it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Sanchez and members of City Council, City Manager. We appreciate the recognition. On behalf of all 138 staff members in Public Works Department, thank you for your continued support. Just very briefly, Public Works is organized into 6 different divisions. I'll introduce them very briefly and just a snippet, a highlight of what they are doing. The department budget, the operating budget is $64 million, about $14 million CIP, so it's a pretty large budget. We appreciate the staff we have in the administration division, help us with the budget and HR and all the legal stuff and all that. The property management group is wonderful people. They not only oversee the 2 golf courses and the municipal airport, but they also manage 75 properties that the city owns and 165 commercial leases that they're managing. Also, the department, that division has the building maintenance people, our building maintenance people. Anybody here today? They couldn't make it. They're maintaining buildings. There are 46 buildings, over 570,000 square feet of building that we are maintaining on a regular basis. Harbor division, we have our harbor manager here, 100 acres of beautiful harbor, 950 boat rental slips, and they're doing a fantastic job. Fleet services, we have our interim, there he is, right here, our acting fleet supervisor, Chris, and they are doing a fantastic job for procurement and maintaining all the city vehicles, including police, fire apparatus, ambulances, and all that. Totaling, last count I looked at, 586 vehicles that we are maintaining. That's a large fleet. Traffic engineering here, Tom was here, I think he's back there, and they're programming and designing traffic signals and the striping and all that. And then the biggest group we have are our street maintenance and operation, Nathan Mertz and his team. Just to give you an idea, they're maintaining 500 center line miles of streets every year, over 163 traffic signals, 8,500 street lights that they're maintaining, and they are also sweeping about over 25,000 curb line miles every year, collecting more than 3,000 tons of debris and trash that otherwise would have been washed into the ocean. And they're maintaining also landscaping in 225 acres, and this is my favorite number, you're gonna like this. They're maintaining more than 48,000 trees that we have in the city. That's a lot of work, and we really appreciate them for the great work that they're doing. And this is all we do on Monday before lunch. So So the rest of the emergencies come up, as you know. We have had challenges with emergencies, the flooding, and the more than normal heavy rainfalls and all that. And tomorrow, as the mayor mentioned, we will have the Public Works Day display. I would like to thank our friends in the Water Department, Lindsay Leahy, our great water director, and her staff and her team is going to be in collaboration with the Water Department. And again, thank you, Mayor, and members of the council and city manager. And if you, Mayor, would like, we would allow people to introduce themselves. Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Chris. I run the fleet department at the City of Oceanside. As Hamid said, we do have 586 units that we maintain on a daily basis. As they break, they come in, we repair them. We do have a great team. We work diligently to keep every vehicle optimum, and we're just proud to work for the City of Oceanside.
My name is Joe Ravitch. I'm the Harbor Division Manager. Over the next 15 years or so, we'll be doing a lot of work in the harbor with a pre-prescribed maintenance plan, and I'm really looking forward to servicing Oceanside.
I'm Brianna Ortiz. I'm an administrative analyst in the fleet department.
Hi, I'm Christy. I'm with Admin Department. We do a lot of the budgeting and legal contract works and invoicing.
I'm Brian. I'm a public works supervisor, and I'm in charge of the 3 closed landfills and the street sweepers.
Hi, I'm Patrick Stone, and I'm a parking enforcement officer.
I'm Torado, parking enforcement. If any of you guys have any questions about, if you want your citations appealed or anything, ask Officer Stone, he'll help you out.
Hello. Hello, I'm Ryan, Streets Division for Streets and Floods.
Dave Downey, Beach Maintenance.
Bison King, Park Maintenance.
Andrew Sosa, Park Maintenance.
Shay Sanders, Parks Maintenance.
Nathan Mertz, Public Works Division Manager, and just want to let everybody know how impactful Public Works is to everyone's life here in Oceanside and other cities. From the moment you wake up in the morning to the moment you get home at night, when you walk out the door, you cross the sidewalk, you get in your car, you drive onto the streets, the street lights that illuminate your way, the traffic signals that control traffic, to the parks that we recreate in, the beaches that we relax and sunbathe on. There's all facets of Public Works that affects everyone's life in a positive way every day. So thank you for the recognition today.
My name's Jeff. I'm the electrical and traffic supervisor. I got the traffic signals and street lights along with the striping of the roads and sign maintenance.
Jessica Farrell, parking enforcement supervisor.
Mort Sabelis, street division and flood control supervisor.
Let's give him a great big hand. Thank you. Let's get a picture. Can we do a picture? Somehow get closer, maybe? Thank you. Have fun tomorrow. So don't forget tomorrow, starting at 9 a.m., right?
Yeah, we'll be there at 6, but it starts at 9.
9 o'clock. All right. Thank you. Oh, yes. Gee, I was thinking that, then I forgot. Okay, the next great big thing here is our service awards for our employees. So come on down. Who's walking us through this? Here we go. Thank you. Come on. So all council members and directors in the well, as we congratulate and celebrate our employees that are reaching a certain number of years working for the City of Oceanside. Thank you.
To start now? Okay. Good evening, Mayor Sanchez, council members, department directors, and audience. It is with great pleasure that we present to you employees who have reached the praiseworthy accomplishment of 20, 30, and 35 years of service with the City of Oceanside. When your name is called, please come forward. Samuel B. Hay III. Samuel was hired March 28, 2004 as a police officer with the Oceanside Police Department. Officer Hay has served as a police officer for 20 years, which include the patrol unit, the SWAT team, a K-9 officer, and now a motor officer in the Traffic Services Unit. He also sits as secretary for the San Diego County Motor Officers Association Board of Advisors. Officer Hay was recently awarded the Support Operations Member of the Second Quarter for 2023 by the School Safety Enforcement Team as a school resource officer. Officer Hay provides a wealth of knowledge to members of our police department and community. His willingness to teach and his outstanding enthusiasm for the job is well reflected in his continued service with the police department. Thank you, Officer Hay, for your hard work and dedication. Let's congratulate Officer Samuel Hay for 20 years of service to our community. Next, we have 30 years of service. Jeremy J. Kemp. Jeremy was hired March 27, 1994 as a maintenance worker 1 in the Water Utilities Department. He has held several positions before promoting to his current role in September 2010 as the utility supervisor in the Sewer and Collections Division. Jeremy can always be counted on to get things done promptly and properly. He is steady, smart, and reliable. He is a great leader that leads by example and creates team camaraderie that lasts. Thank you for your service and commitment to both the department and the community. Join me in congratulating Jeremy Kemp, Sewer Dude, for 30 years of service.
One more. Oh, goodness.
And lastly, we will acknowledge 35 years of service, Mark J. Sabely. Mark began his career with the City of Oceanside on March 20th, 1989 as a maintenance worker in the Public Works Department. He then became a maintenance specialist in July 1999. Mark has now been the maintenance supervisor since January 2014. Mark has continued to provide exceptional service to the residents and leadership to the Public Works team. We appreciate his dedication to the organization and the commitment to getting his job done. Join me in congratulating Mark for 35 years of dedication to the City of Oceanside. That concludes tonight's service awards. On behalf of the City of Oceanside, congratulations to everyone recognized this evening. Thank you for your continued commitment to our community. Please join me in a round of applause for tonight's recipients.
All right, Mr. Mullen, closed session report.
Thank you. The council met in closed session at 3:30 on item 1, conference with labor negotiator on the status of negotiations with OCEA, OPOA non-sworn, MECO, and the unrepresented employees. There's no action to report on item 1. Item 2A, conference with legal counsel on pending litigation in the matter of Rawson Doogie v. City of Oceanside. There is no action to report under the Brown Act on item 1. Item 2, Knox Anderson, by and through Guardium ad litem, Dwight Anderson versus City of Oceanside. And again, there's no action on item 2. I will correct myself. On item 2A1, the council did unanimously authorize the city attorney to pursue cross complaints against all parties in the matter as deemed appropriate. That was on item 2A1, Brent Ross and Denise Doogie versus City. Item 3, conference with real property negotiator. The property is 1 Peerview Way. Negotiating parties, City of Oceanside and OS Pier LLC. Under negotiations, our price and terms regarding the lease of the property. There's no action under the Brown Act on item 3 to report.
Thank you. Next is our consent calendar items. Items number 5 through 21. Are there any requests to pull from the public?
The public has requested items number 9 and number 10 be pulled.
All right. Thank you. Councilmember Weiss.
Yes, I would like to pull item 21 and just make a comment on 12, 13, and 14. That those 3 items together, we're taking another $600,000 out of the city's general fund reserves.
All right. So 12, 13, and 14, you don't want to pull them, just make that statement. Okay, got it. All right, there's a motion. I believe there was a motion by Deputy Mayor to move approval, and there was a second. Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and take up item number 22 really quickly before we finish the items under the consent calendar. So I'd like to go ahead and pull 22A, which is, I'd like to go ahead and get to 22A, which is advanced written requests to reserve time to speak for 5 minutes, is Roxanne Detheridge, and it's about Pride by the Beach. You do a lot of things, Max.
Good evening, Mayor Sanchez and the council members. So this year, our Pride is going to be on June 1st, right here on Civic Center. Pride by the Beach is very different than other Pride events, as that we are part of the North County LGBTQ Resource Center. We are one, we're not separate. Our Pride really focuses on what the center actually does all year long to all of our community members. So we really like to showcase what we do. About us, so Pride by the Beach is a free, family-friendly Pride festival. We have no alcohol, no tobacco, right here in Oceanside, which is very unusual. Our 2023 event won silver for Best of North County event. This year, I'm hoping we take first, take out the turkey trot, we'll see. Over the past 17 years, our festival has worked hard to help the community here in Oceanside be visible. Oceanside was not a place 17 years ago where people felt comfortable to come, but now it is. We have people who come from busloads from LA County, Orange County, Riverside County to come to Oceanside because they feel safe and seen, and that's because of everybody's hard work over the past 17 years. Our attendees are not just LGBTQ community, they're allies, they're educators, they're political, they're, can't say I didn't put my reading glasses on. We have veterans and active duty members. We have a wide range of people. It's not just us, it takes allies to support us and to be one to get done what we need to get done. Last year, we had 20,000 attendees, 150 vendors. This year, we're up to 172 vendors for our event that's gonna happen. So we're very excited for the growth.
Nice.
Yes. These are just some of our sponsors. We do have a few more, but they just didn't get added on yet. Main Street Oceanside, VCC, Visit Oceanside, Metrolink, Gentech, Lightful, Kendra Scott, Harrah's, Blenders, Molina, Palomar Health, And we have 2 other sponsors that had just signed on, but they didn't get a chance to get their logo in. So we're very excited for the growth. This year, our theme is Our Stories, Our Power, because right now we are in a time where we need to tell our stories so others can see that it's going to be okay. It's not just the LGBTQ community that needs to hear it. Everybody needs to hear it because everybody has struggles. And when they hear somebody else's story, it makes them have hope that they can get through it too. We are very, very dedicated to making sure that our event is a local event. Our headliners both graduated, one from El Camino, one from Oceanside High. They are giving their time, energy to come back to our main stage, perform for very little money, but they get to support their community. They have teachers that they haven't seen in 10 years, get to see them perform, live out their dreams. Their moms, their dads, their little sisters get to see them perform because it's not at a club. It's not 21 and older. So it's very important for all of our entertainers that they're all giving back to Oceanside. We make sure that we have accessibility for everybody. We have ASL at both stages. Plus, we have at least 2 that are walking around for one-on-one assistance at all time. We're having a silent disco this year that's gonna be at the OMA, so people who are huge fans of the loud noise can have a minute and still get to enjoy the party without being overwhelmed. We have a sensory and calm zone area where we have fidget toys, hammock chairs, arts and crafts. It's right here by the fountain so people can have a moment and chill but still get to enjoy Pride, but at their space. This is just a little bit of our map. It's the same as last year. Next year, we hope to expand, but this year we will end right there at Ditmar. This is a little bit about what the North County Resource Center is about. Our pride is to highlight these things. Last year, we did cultural awareness trainings, 63. 1,260 people were trained in 22 different organizations. We had 257 appointments with clients that we served with housing, food, medical, all their necessities that they need. We are behavioral health, 4,043 hours of free mental health to our community. And we have people who come all over just to get free mental health because very few places, none actually offer free mental health. We're good, thanks, you're good. Free Narcan, we are all Narcan trained. We have Narcan at the festival. We have Narcan at the center if anybody needs it. Grant funds, oop, my time is up.
Yes.
Yes, time is up. So that's just a little bit about our center, yeah.
So what time again? It's June 1st?
June 1st, 12 to 6 p.m.
Great, thank you.
Thank
you
you.
very much. All right, next is Ken Layton.
The Pier Fire brought introspection. It showcased our fire department's agility and competence. It also caused us to look behind the curtain on how Oceanside manages its city-owned property, including the city-owned old Ruby's Diner. When you mix government and business in landlord-tenant relationships, it can get messy. But now we face some major breakdowns. The City Council is a de facto landlord of city-owned buildings. Yet, if the City Council drops the ball, they aren't really held liable or responsible. When Ruby's failed and its building sat vacant for year after year after year, didn't anybody in the city's property management division or the City Council say, maybe it's time for a new use, or maybe it's time to start marketing that most valuable asset, a venue at the end of California's longest wooden pier? But no, crickets. We got 4 years of unrealized deadbeat oversight. But it gets worse. The Jolly Roger restaurant, with a gorgeous view of our harbor, was also allowed to wallow in shuttered embarrassment as if Oceanside has a big L on its forehead for 4 years, under the direction of the then harbor director representing the city. The leaseholder of the failed Jolly Roger was encouraged to sublet to a wedding venue which wanted to take over public sidewalks and dock space for private use, which of course any idiot would know is against Coastal Commission rules. Where was property management or the city council in all this? Why would the owner of a failed business be allowed to select the next business at the site of his failed business? And if you talk to any local businessman with roots and connections, they will tell you that it is well known that the city leases its Buccaneer Cafe for a fraction of its fair market value. But what is outrageous is that the city allowed a third party who used to run the Buccaneer Cafe to keep the lease and then sublease the property to the current business owner. Why is the original leaseholder with a smoke-in rental deal who has left the building allowed to make money off city-owned property? Every single person I spoke with said this is simply not done in other cities, counties, or port districts. If the business fails, especially at prime beachfront locations with breathtaking views, let a new tenant come in at fair market rates. Maybe this is what locals have come to expect from a city government where the deadbeat Chamber of Commerce gets free rent, the only one in the county, even as high-tech businesses flee and Harbor Days dies at their hands, as long as the chamber contributes money and other support to a council majority. Oceanside has taken on this dysfunctional, underachieving Paul. When my parents voted on building the harbor in the early 60s, it was presented as a recreational marina. It's since been overwhelmed by liveaboards, who have turned it into a floating trailer park. Oceanside slogan used to be California's best kept secret. Now it seems like it might be aim low and you're sure to hit. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. We're going to go back to our consent calendar items. Those that were pulled were items 9, 10, and 21. What are the speaker numbers per?
We have 2 speakers on item number 9 and 1 speaker on item number 10.
2 on 9, 1 on 10?
Correct.
Okay, so let's call item number 9.
Item number 9.
Which is approval of a purchase order to Pierce Manufacturing in the amount of $2.4 million for the purchase of 2 Type 1 fire engines, authorization for an additional $160,000 for the purchase of radios and equipment to be installed in the units, approval of the procurement as a sole source, and authorization for the financial services director or designee to execute the purchase order.
Our 2 speakers are Pat Hartley, to be followed by Nadia.
Pat Hartley?
Thank you, City Council and Honorable Mayor. I'm requesting to let's look for alternatives for the vehicle that they're planning to buy. It's made by Pierce, which is a subsidiary of Oshkosh. Oshkosh is a manufacturer that builds hulls for Eton, Israel's newest armored personnel carrier, which was used in operations in the ground invasion of Gaza. They also make trucks that Israel converts into armored personnel carriers in the occupied West Bank. On December 7th, there's Israeli military captured dozens of Palestinians and transported them for interrogation in their underwear, publicly humiliating them. At least some were transported in other Oshkosh tactical vehicles. While the Israeli media claimed that these individuals were all members of Hamas, the Israel military later admitted the vast majority were civilians. In addition, Israel acquired 73 Oshkosh light tactical vehicles in November, delivered September 2020, to be delivered September 25. This is the $208 million order was funded by U.S. taxpayers of subsequent modifications. All the rest was funded through Israel's own budget. The order by Israel will keep Oshkosh in production until 2025. And so I just disagree with using a manufacturer that profits off of the apartheid, the occupation, the killing of civilians. And I request that you don't buy this vehicle from Oshkosh because you're basically supporting a regime that's committing human rights violations, which has been proven by the International Court of Justice and the UN.
Thank you very much. Next is Nadia. Nadia? Is Nadia here? Okay, so not here. Is there a motion? Okay, is there a second? Okay, there's a motion second, please vote. Oh, Councilmember Joyce, I didn't see you. Councilmember Joyce, yes.
So close. I just want to say, so I did have a conversation with our police chief about this purchase, and there's a lot of reasons why this is a really important purchase to go ahead with. Everything from we already have parts for to the trucks are really high quality, and we need our firefighters to have high quality machines that they're going to do their important work on. The consolidation of major companies, intertwining where you choose to put your money is really important. But in this case, I am going to support staff's recommendation because there are so many really important reasons to do so.
Thank you very much. Let's vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you. Item number 10 is approval of Amendment 1 to the improvement agreement with Sud Arena LLC in the amount of $1 million for revised contract amount not to exceed $2.3 million for utility and remedial grading improvements for the north roundabout traffic control system and associated landscaping at El Corazon, and authorization for the city manager to execute the amendment upon receipt of all supporting documents.
This item was pulled by Sandra M.
Sandra?
Hi, Mayor, council members. I spoke a few months ago about the excessive financial amendments to a lot of the contracts that I've been seeing come through here over the years. And this one is over 100% increase in the contract amount. Now, there are a lot of things that you were going to be prepared for anyway, so you knew a lot of this was coming. But there were things in the contract that have not changed, that have not been added to. And one of the things that's stated in it is the significant inflation, which is causing the cost increases. Now, we have been assured by the Biden administration that our inflation is 3.5%. And as I recall, when we had there was a utility hearing, I don't remember if it was water or electricity, the council decided a 6.5 margin of inflation was sufficient. Based upon what you're saying, I feel that the amount could be lower because significant inflation at 3.5% really is not that significant, even if you bump it up to 6.5, which is your number versus the federal number. So I think it's too much money. Again, I haven't seen all the details, but that's a very open statement as far as significant inflation. I think this is a great opportunity to kind of look at the process that the city council goes through with this. If I were involved in a corporate government partnership, I'd come in with a low bid because it is my understanding that the council and the city recommends that the lowest bid be accepted. And then I would ask for additional funds. So I would take the opportunity to propose that the council make a resolution for a cap on the amended amount to not exceed 15% of an initial contract amount. This would mitigate the possibility of nepotism and favoritism that could occur between the city and the various service providers. It also provides better transparency and accountability while eliminating bad actors who might abuse the generous contract system that you folks currently employ. So I've asked you to consider that and perhaps put a 15% cap on contracts when you receive them so it's not tempting to really jack up the contract amount. Thank you.
Thank you very much. To the council, Councilmember Joyce?
I'll move approval. I want to see if staff wanted to talk about at all why it was such a big change. And I know there's been a lot of concerns about traffic around that area, so they're not the only ones.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council. Brian Thomas, City Engineer. For this particular contract, the reason why we're seeing such large cost increase is when we initially entered into the agreement with Sudbury Development, we had not included water line costs that need to be installed for the future Parkside 1. So this additional cost is to cover the utilities to go into the project.
Okay, that's good to know.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second? There's a motion and a second.
Thank you, sir.
Councilmember Weiss?
Yeah, I just have a question. So we're putting the water lines in before we pave the street?
Yes.
So you don't pave the street and then put the water lines in?
Not today.
Okay, thank you.
I know he looks serious, but it's actually, never mind. Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you. Item number 21 is approval of the library strategic plan for 2024 to 2028 and library study. Was this, Councilmember Weiss, thank you.
So I just wanted to point out that, and I'm supportive of the plan. In fact, I'll move approval in just a minute or so. But what I wanted to point out is this is a long-term plan that we're looking at, and the order of magnitude costs associated with this, just for the capital costs, are about $100 million. And it's likely going to probably anywhere from $1 million to $2 million, maybe more million in ongoing operating costs as well over time as these things get built out. So I just wanted to point out that part of what we're committing to, and I know in the staff report it says we're going to look for grants, but I think it's going to be kind of hard to find $100 million in grants. But there's just going to be an expectation that over time that we're going to have to allocate funds if we want to actually implement this study. So with that, I will move approval.
Thank you. Okay, there's a motion and second. My comments I shared with our head librarian was that the library especially has done a fantastic job in literacy, and I was educated that literacy has been taken out to instead use learning. And so for me, not only literacy in terms of language is very, very critical, but also finance literacy, health, nutrition, all of these things that you can learn at the library that'll help you with life challenges. So that's my comments. And there was a motion and a second. Please vote. Thank you very much. That was fast.
5-0.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now to communications on items not on the agenda, number 23.
We have 13 registered speakers.
13, so let's go ahead and go to 2 minutes.
And meetings of the City Council should be conducted in an orderly manner to ensure that the public has a full opportunity to be heard and that deliberative process of the council is retained at all times. The City of Oceanside has a code in place to ensure decorum in our meetings. Section 2.1.30 of this code details enforcement of the decorum policy to help restore order. We ask the public to be respectful and allow for all speakers to be heard. There are 2 lecterns. Please make your way to the next available lectern when you hear your name being called. And our first speaker is Jalea Finlay, to be followed by Charles Bowen. And I apologize if I mispronounce your name.
Jaylee Finley.
Thank you.
I had handouts. Do I just give them out, or do you? Hello, Ms. Mayor and all the council members. Thank you for allowing me to present my case, or actually, it's our case. I live at the Oceanic Senior Community Center. There's actually a whole retirement community behind me, but the hour is late. This is kind of our bedtime. But we are in the midst of a project that is getting approved, or the approval's going through the project, forgive me, the City Planning Department. We were initially informed about this project in the fall of last year, and we thought that we were having all of our concerns addressed at that time, but apparently that wasn't really happening. We found out last week that that wasn't going to happen. So it's getting approved, it looks like, but we still have quite a few concerns. I think it's going to be a while, however, until it's on your agenda. So I think that it might be a little premature to talk about the specific issues, but I would like to get it on your radar. So it's going to be coming through, and we'll be seeing you soon, I guess, to talk about it. Thank you so much for your time. This was quite a great experience, my first time here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Finley. Charles Bowen, followed by Bob Ashton.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. I'm Charles Bowen, Chair of the Communications Committee for Save Oceanside Sand. I urge you to allocate current recurring budget funds for coastal administrator support, sand nourishment, and coastal resilience projects. Details have been communicated separately. The recent pier fire has been a challenge, but we must not lose focus on the importance of our beaches while we deal with the urgency of the damage to our pier. Nationwide attention was focused on our pier and shoreline by the fire, highlighting Oceanside's coastal assets. However, negative news like property damage due to coastal erosion tends to overshadow positive beach experiences, as evidenced by the recent coverage of Del Mar and San Clemente. We need to ensure that our reputation is built on the positive experiences of visitors and recreational users, not on bad news about shoreline erosion. Property values are likewise affected by the public perception of our shoreline. Damage to beachfront homes impacts the perception of all Oceanside properties because the media often portrays such incidents as representative of the entire city. Oceanside's beaches host various surf contests, such as this September's Supergirl Surf Pro and the Adaptive Surfing Championship. They also host a variety of youth programs, including this summer's expanded junior lifeguard program. Whether organized events or family factions, both visitors and locals expect to find sand on our beaches. Our beaches are our greatest tourist attraction, so we must treat our shoreline as valuable infrastructure that needs proper funding for maintenance and capital improvement projects. Without adequate budget support, we cannot attract funding and grants, risking the success of our pilot project and the future of our beaches. Please provide the necessary funding to restore Oceanside's beaches and ensure coastal resilience. This is a crucial economic investment for our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ashton.
Good evening, Oceanside leaders, staff, and fellow citizens. I'm Bob Ashton, President and CEO of Save Oceanside Sand. I'd like to address a critical issue observed during the Council's budget workshop on April 17th. Notably absent was any serious consideration for allocating funds towards coastal management or beach resilience projects. This oversight is deeply concerning given the significance of these projects for the well-being of our community. Save Oceanside Sand contracted a professional survey service to conduct a telephone survey from May 14th to 17th. The survey included 403 registered Oceanside voters through all 4 districts who are likely to participate in the November 5th general election. Key findings are that sand replenishment is a very high priority for Oceanside voters. Widespread support of replenishment was 86% total support and a peak of 91% in Council District 4. Annual budget support for beach restoration topped out at 71% of respondents in favor of a $33 million annual budget for beach restoration, with support rising to 77%, again in Council District 4. The survey unequivocally demonstrates the high priority that voters place on beach restoration, and their support for allocating funding is the same. Save Oceanside Sand supports these findings and urges the City Council to reflect them in the budget. Recently, our sister cities of Encinitas and Solana Beach successfully restored 15,000 feet of beach with over 1 million cubic yards of sand. They achieved this by allocating funding to cost share with projects with the U.S. Army Corps and federal and state funding sources. Oceanside should unquestionably follow suit and allocate and fund sizable accounts for coastal management and shoreline projects. This will enable the city to attract funding sources by demonstrating the ability to cost share. By securing the funds now, Oceanside can partner with funding agencies and ensure the resiliency, sustainability, and prosperity of our coastline for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sandra? Yeah.
I'm holding this up because I know on the TV thing, on the recording, it doesn't show up unless you put it there. Anyway, so this is a public service announcement. You know, I've been coming here for a while talking about vaccine injury, and there is a support group now that's been formed for people that have been injured by vaccines or by the COVID injection. It doesn't matter if you've been injured from DTaP, MMR, or the clot shot. Makes no difference. This is a way to seek help. Perhaps you've experienced autism in your family from it. Perhaps you've experienced some autoimmune diseases, a weakening of your immune system, chronic colds, myocarditis, strokes, and the list goes on and on. So you can contact us at wecareforyou99@aol.com. They do Zoom meetings. It's actually based in San Diego. They also have a lot of doctors speak, but primarily it's a support group to help get through the tough times. Mainstream Western medicine hasn't really looked at a lot of these things. It's not in their financial interest to actually address the causes of what's going on and help the body recover from a toxic injection. So that's pretty much it, just letting people know there is hope for them. wecareforyou99@aol.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard Newton? Followed by Sandy Beal.
Mayor Sanchez, members of the council, and the public. I'd like to speak about something going on the other end of the country, out in New York, the abuse of our legal system, and I think it needs to be discussed. New York Attorney General Letitia James, as a candidate, made campaign statements that she would target President Trump if she was elected. This is an act consistent with the old Soviet Union philosophy of, quote, show me the man and I'll show you the crime, end quote. This is not America. This is not what is supposed to happen in the American judicial system. The only appropriate path for an attorney general to take is to follow the evidence, not seek out an infraction to prosecute a political opponent. Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz and others have advocated for her to be disbarred for her witch hunt actions and political persecutions. It goes further than that, though. The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, basically tried to tell everybody after Trump was convicted and fined in a kangaroo court a $350 million fine for basically negotiating in good faith business negotiations, that no other business people in New York needed to worry about that. It was just Trump they were singling out, and no one else had to worry. Again, it's truly Orwellian. Finally, the New York State Legislature waived statutes of limitations in a special law with a one-year window, which just happens to make Trump more vulnerable to allegations that had expired due to statute of limitations. What the hell is a one-year window of waiving statute? Either it's a good idea or it isn't, but don't implement it so it can be used against someone who's already in the legal pipeline. This is an atrocity of legal abuse. I request a proclamation from this city council condemning New York for its politicization of the American legal system, which is so highly regarded before the shenanigans of New York. Let's also start a movement to boycott New York and say that their election interference and abuses of the legal system are not appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sandy Beal.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Sanchez and council members. My name is Sandy Beal, and I'm from Rancho San Luis Rey Mobile Home Park, where I am the City of Oceanside Park designee, used to be park representative, but now it's designee, and the homeowner's president. I want the City Council to be aware of how hard the Manufactured Home Fair Practices Commissioners are working. This commission is made up of people who actually work closely with 16B, the Mobile Home Rent Control Act. They want to be sure that mobile homeowners and park owners are doing the right thing. In previous years, the Manufactured Home Practices Commission was there to approve the yearly permissive rent increase, and that was it. It could easily be a 30-minute meeting, and it was over. I got the impression we were taking them away from something way more important than 16B. The meetings now are usually at least 2 hours. There are usually several agenda items and a very lively discussion among the commissioners. The commission wants to make sure that if a park did not pass their yearly health and safety inspection, they will not receive their permissive rent increase until they are re-inspected and they do pass. Sadly, in the past years, that was not always the case. In April, they had a meeting and announced the parks that had passed and the parks that hadn't. Rancho San Luis Rey did not pass our health and safety inspection this year for several reasons, which management is currently working on. If it weren't for this yearly inspection, it's hard to say if anything in the park would be fixed or updated. So obviously it works. Once everything is fixed, I will be waiting for Jackie Bickford after a reinspection. I realize that Manufactured Home Fair Practice Commission is not supposed to have any bias when it comes to mobile homeowners and park owners. Again, I really want to applaud you for picking these commissioners. They ask intelligent questions, and they always seem very attentive during their meetings.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Mashu?
Honorable Mayor and Council, I'm Steve from Save Oceanside Sand in North Coast Village. At your April 17th budget workshop, I pleaded for you to include regular annual funding for sand in our city budget. Since our city beaches lose sand every year, we ought to be able to replenish frequently, and that requires budgeting for it annually. After the public comments, each of you spoke about sand, and generally it sounded like you agreed with the need for that funding. However, it seemed like there was no consensus to amend the draft budget to include that funding that we had requested. Several of you mentioned that use the TOT as a source, but there was no motion to amend the draft budget. A comment that the council should wait until after November to decide gave me the feeling that maybe we're just kicking the can down the road. This can has been kicked down the road since 1950s. I'm here again tonight to plead for you to add funding to that operating budget and the capital improvement budget, as you heard from Bob Ashton, and you got an email from him, and to the capital improvement budget to get and keep sand on our beach. I firmly believe that a broad sandy beach will benefit every resident and tourists. As such, everyone needs to pay their share to maintain the beach. Tourists through TOT, residents through sales tax, and beach area owners probably should be given an assessment district to help fund their value of their properties, because as we get beach, the property values will rise. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pat Hartley, followed by Zoe Erickson, or Zoe?
Thanks, Zeb. Honorable Mayor, City Council. I've tried many different rhetorical strategies to try and get you guys to think about. I'm here to ask that you put a ceasefire resolution on the agenda, first of all. We tried, appeal to emotion. There's 35 to 40,000 civilians dead. We tried ad hominem to try and shame you, but doesn't seem to work. Every month, there's between 1,000 to 4,000 civilians killed in Gaza. So when we see you in 2 weeks, probably be another 2,000 civilians killed. 70% are women and children. Doesn't seem to ring a bell or register. So I just would ask you to question yourself, like, why is there's all these other genocides that have happened, the Holocaust, Rwanda, Serbia, everybody knows about those, but nobody seems to know about the one in 1948 where Israel, the Zionists, killed like 17,000 Palestinians. Why is that not common knowledge? Why is Israel spending, $185 million in the last 6 years on our elections? If they're the most moral, ethical army in the world, democracy, why would they need to pay others to support them? We pay them $4 billion a year, and they use that money to put out their propaganda in here that they're the most moral army, the most ethical army, but nobody questions it. So I'm asking you to put the ceasefire on the agenda and just have some compassion, like you do for Israel.
Zoe Erickson?
Hello, Madam Mayor and esteemed council members. My name is Zoe DeCrivacor Erickson.
My apologies. I said Zoe. So
I have been in this city since I was 2 years old, and I lived on Olive Drive since for 40 years. My main concern is right now there is a proposed development of 280 low-income rental units going in on the west end of Olive, with Olive being the only access and exit. That is going to make a horrendous amount of traffic. I was told several years ago on a prior development attempt that by a city planner that they figured 7 vehicles a day per household. So multiply 7 times 282, and oh my gosh. There is a proposed redevelopment of the College and Olive intersection, but that is going to mean widening the whole intersection, most likely taking properties from various people. Right now, on rush hour, if I go out and hit the red light, wait for it to turn green, and ease out into the intersection, I have to wait until someone coming from the east, turning to go left down on a College, and hope that they let me in. And I will tell you invariably, I'm out there in the red. So please consider not okaying this. We're really concerned about the traffic in that area. There's a lot of other concerns in that development, the land, the environmental, there is a lot, but my main concern is the traffic. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Cheryl Rowe?
Hi. My name is Cheryl Rowe, and I've never been here before. And I'm ashamed to actually say that because I've lived in Oceanside a long time, and I vote, and I recognize all your names, and I think I voted for almost all of you. And I'm grateful to be here and to have your time. I'm also here about my home on Olive Drive. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and actually I think the developer's name is Lightfoot Planning Group that met with us at the El Corazon building. And I was wondering if any of you here know where Olive Drive is, or Crystal or Bradley, that neighborhood. It's a little neighborhood that we get out on College. We live by the corner of Albertsons Do you know where that is? Well, it's a little nice, quaint neighborhood where not many people, I'm not surprised that none of you know where that neighborhood is, because that's why we love living there. People will drive by on College, and when they hear that I live on Olive Drive, they go, oh yeah, I know where Olive Avenue is.
No,
And I'm
Drive.
going,
Yeah.
no, I live on the other side. I don't live in Vista. I live in Oceanside. Well, we've had several developers through the years. We've lived in our home over 30 years. And we've had several developers come and want to develop single-family homes. You name it, they've tried to figure out a way to develop at the end of our street, which we're not opposed to, but the only thing we're opposed, the main issue is that is the only access for 282 apartments added on to ours. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. So is Nadia here? Macy?
I meant to come and speak on item number 9, and I just missed it just barely. And I appreciate that you looked into other companies, but I don't understand exactly what's so special about this company. In the time I sat here, there's plenty of American manufacturing fire truck companies we could have used instead. And Mayor Sanchez, I really appreciate that you dig in your purse and play on your phone while other people are speaking about pointless things to you too. It's not just me and my friends that care about Gaza. So you're bipartisan. Thank you. And yeah, I think you two are both Democrats, Eric and Esther, and it's not looking good for us. So when we live under Trump in November again, you know why. You're all failing us in every part. So thanks.
Thank you. So that's, oh, and Bruce Anders.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, fellow Oceansiders, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I am also going to be speaking about the proposed development of the 43-plus acres behind College Station. I reside at 2530 Bradley Street. The last two speakers on the subject are neighbors of mine. We are intimately aware of the disaster that this project will cause. One thing that has not been made clear tonight is that the land itself is unstable. Let me repeat that. The land is unstable. That is what killed a couple projects before when it finally came to light. If housing goes on that land and there's a quake, there's a high likelihood of a lot of damage, possibly a lot of injury too, and liability to the city. The meeting we went to a few weeks ago at the El Corazon Center was pitched to us as, I'm just going to tell you how the EIR process works. Well, they didn't get to do a very good job because they were getting overwhelming response from the locals that this is all deeply ill-considered, will create more problems than it's worth, and is no net benefit to the community. I do not understand the bureaucracy that let the project get this far. City planning, I understand, has allowed them to go ahead. Looks like the EIR is going to be a done deal, and frankly, a lot of money poured down the toilet. It's going to go nowhere. The thing I'm asking, my understanding is the City Council has the last word on this when it finally comes back to these chambers. I urge you, I beg you, for the quality of life in Oceanside, please kill this thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so that's it. We did not have any general or public hearing items. So we're on general council member comments. Any comments? All right, Councilmember Robinson.
All right, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to give a few quick updates since our last council meeting. Some of the things that happened on May 11th. There were several of us that went to well, I don't know about you did, but there was a lot of people that went to the Sublime Life sobriety event here at City Hall and in front of the museum in the evening. It was a great event. On the 13th, went to it was a Cal Cities virtual meeting this time, and it was a very quick meeting. The big item they talked about was their climate action plan that Cal Cities is working through. And several of us went to the ribbon cutting on the Nala, the boat out in the harbor. It was a great event, and I was happy to be there for that. North County Transit District Board meeting was on the 16th, and I put in all of your mailboxes, I just put a summary of the events, the things that happened through that meeting. So if you have any questions, you can get back to me on that. Police and Fire Commission on the 16th. Just a lot of general updates. The one highlight, though, I would say is that the police chief talked about the 26 officer vacancies, but the fairly rapid way I think that they're going to fill those positions with the academy graduates and the new hires and the things they're doing. So I think that's really good news for us. On May 18th, I went to the Armed Forces Recognition Ceremony. Matter of fact, we were all there, and that was another great event and nice way to recognize our Marines and sailors in the area. May 21st, we had the Utilities Commission yesterday, and very routine meeting, but was nice to hear from the water manager was all the AMI smart meters have been installed now that that project's done, so that was good news to hear. And then today we had the North County JPA meeting. We did approve their budget for 24-25 and renewed the medical director contract for performance review. So other than that, that's all I've been doing.
Thank you. Councilmember Joyce.
I won't double cover everything that you reported that we were both at, but I did go to a really interesting meeting called the Sediment Management Technical Task Force of the Oceanside Littoral Cell. So it's a real complicated one there, but it was really interesting because we're talking about moving sand onto the beaches, and this is a group of scientists, and the presenters at this meeting were the managers of the lagoons around our region, and they were talking about how the last regional beach sand project that happened ended up causing them to have to do a lot of extra work on keeping the lagoons open. So it just reminds us that every time we mess around with what's going on with nature, there's more complex things that we have to deal with on the back end too. So this is meeting number 4. This is a sand ag operation, and they're working on getting the recommendations for the next regional sand project, which is the big sand dumping project that we'll see over the next couple of years, in which we're about 10 years overdue for a new one. So yeah, I went to a couple other community meetings, but that was the most technically interesting of all of them.
Thank you very much. Went to most of these, I think. But I wanted to share with you a message I received from Congressman Mike Levin. It states, I'm reaching out to share the positive update we received from the Army Corps this morning related to the harbor dredging vessel. The dredge equipment is still under repair in Long Beach, but Manson Construction is targeting next Tuesday, May 28th, to come back and continue dredging. We will keep you updated for any further information we receive. So that's from Congressman Levin. This is Memorial Weekend. So I wish you all a peaceful Memorial Day weekend, and thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned to Wednesday, June 5th, 3:30 p.m. Thank you.